Well, good afternoon, campers. Temperatures have slowed down here. It's a little bit cooler today. It's like in the 80s, not bad. Humidity's pretty much up. I'm sweating pretty good. I just got off the roof and working on an attic fan. I haven't done anything for a while. Just kind of catching up on jet lag and a few other projects around the place. I apologize for that. So I got a new topic for today's episode. It's going to be the oil pump bushing, or it's called something else in the shop manual. I'll show you that in a second. It should be changed every once in a while. I don't know the true mileage on it. The last time I checked mine was at 6,000 miles, and that was quite a while ago. And it's got the Teflon one in there that I bought from Jamie and Marty years ago, and it was still perfect. There was absolutely nothing wrong with it. But I'm going to check it anyway, just to make sure, everything's fine in there. I don't want it rattling around or doing any damage on anything. So this is what these bushings look like. This one is a factory one. It's plastic, and we got away from these for the fact that they crunch up and turn into a million little bitty pieces and disintegrate into the motor, into the deep wells of the motor, and nobody knows where they're at. This is Bobby Baldwin's design. This is an aluminum one. If mine needs a bushing today, when we get that far, I will replace it with this aluminum one. And the only reason I'm putting the aluminum one in there is because I've got one. I don't have another Teflon one. I've got another used aluminum one that's actually really good shape. This one's really good shape, pretty much. It's used, but because it's hard plastic, I'm not ever going to use it. I'm just using it for an example, and I'll keep it in my pile of tools. Just for the simple fact that I know what they do, and I have seen when they crumble and fall apart. And that's usually from a lot of high temp oil impingement or motor temp impingement, and the plastic gets hard and they disintegrate. This is the pump that this bushing rides on. And from here it goes to the crank on the motor, and these two centers, this here and then the crank, are offset a ways, just a little bit. And because of that, you have to have something in there that'll slide back and forth, something like this. On the parts CD, which I have here, I'm really hoping this works out. This is the bushing, this is the pump that I just showed you, and there's the crank where it goes. And that part number is number 8. And number 8 is 3599007575 coupling Scavenger pump. And that's a Scavenger pump. That is not the oil pressure pump. It's the pump that sucks the oil to the pressure pump. The oil pump, the regular one, is down below. I don't think this shows a picture of it. It does not. It's down here in this area. But that's where the pressure pump is, and it's down close to the oil pressure, or the oil voids, where the oil sits in the case. Alright, so I could get all these hot toppers off of this side. I'm missing a lot of them. So we got to take the oil filter off and the cover. We're going to take this plate, this timing cover off. And that's where the bushing and pump is hiding back in there. Something to remember, I've said it a lot of times, this is sand cast block, so when you're putting bolts and stuff back in, just remember not to over tighten. I know a lot of people are really into torque specs. I am too when I know when it's safe. This I wouldn't consider safe. I get them, everything I do pretty tight. It's snug, but it's not to torque. I have pulled these threads out on this job before. Let's see if I can get this better. Oh, that's better. Yeah, I've been in here on mine. This will probably be my 4th or 5th time, maybe more actually, checking on this bushing. I'm sweating copious amounts. It's really humid today. We had a rainstorm this morning.
What are you doing?
Making a video. Need something? You can talk.
You want to know if I could stay with Gus, and I told her I was already probably going to
I got these wobblies, Allen head wobblies, and if I didn't have those, I'd have to take this exhaust off to get this bolt out of here. As you can see, it will not come all the way out. Constantly dropping stuff. That's just my nature. I can't get that out because the exhaust is in the way, so I just leave it in there. And now there's a fly bothering me. I'm turning into a huge whiner today. And as always, you always find all the problems after you move in. Alright. And I saved the gasket. And here comes the oil. And I forgot about the oil. I forgot about the oil. Typical me. All right, so we're inside the timing cover. Here's that pump. You remember I showed you when we were getting started. Here it is. And it sits just like this in here. And on this back side is where that bushing is that goes under the crank. This here are your overhead cam chains, one here, and they run off down here below and take off and run your overhead cams. So now we got to get the pump off. Oh, and this is the Scavenger pump. This is the oil pressure pump hiding back in here. This one's kind of tough to get into. I've been in there on 3 bikes because it's behind all that and everything. You get everything out of the way and all that. And it's a little tricky putting it back in because there's a gear. I can't remember where it is, but there's a gear in there you got to get just right when you're assembling it back together. Alrighty. There we go. Alright. This big old T-handle was a wobbly, a snap-on wobbly, and I broke it. Guy bought it for me for working on his bike, and I broke it, and I took it back snap-on, and they gave me a brand new one, and I snapped it off immediately. So, even though snap-on's got a great warranty, and they're really expensive, doesn't do you much good if they keep breaking off. So I don't know where a snap-on guy is other than if I went to a shop, some mechanic shop, and got a hold of a mechanic, because I don't do anything that makes money, and so Snap-on's not interested in selling me anything personal. So on the factory OEM bushing, this plastic one right here, remember, when it gets heat and pinched, it comes real brittle and all the pieces fall all over the place. Guess where they go? They go in that oil. And that's an issue. And there it is. And holy beans. That bushing looks like new yet. They look like they're nylon. No matter. I think this is my second or third one, and for some reason, my motor's not tearing them up anymore. And I don't know why. But that's a good thing. And it's a good thing to know. So, if you remember, I was going to use this aluminum one. It would go right in there. And this is offset. This isn't center. It keeps everybody happy and lubed and all that good stuff like that. For some reason, I don't have to change it. And that's just awesome. I'm tickled. Because every time I open up one and it's all beat to hell and everything, it really makes me wonder what the hell's going on. But I'll show this to you. She's turning a little yellow. They're white when they come, whitish, opaque, kind of clear. But look at that. I got the dropsies today. Look at that. There's not a ding on it. just some really slight ones that could have been there when I installed it. So this is my second time I've checked this one, and I try to do it about every 6,000 miles. And to be honest, I don't know when the last time I checked this out, but I know it was at least 2 years, and it might have been 3 years ago, which would be about right for 6,000 miles. That's about what I get every year. So this has got approximately 12,000 miles on it, which would be 6 years, so that'd be 2017. And I think Jamie and Marty came out with these back in about 2010. And I'm just tickled pink. Just because it's not beat up doesn't mean it's the exceptional material or not the exceptional material. It just means that things in here in the motor are running smoothly. I've got another aluminum one like this that's used. And here you go. This is the used plastic factory one. This is the factory, and it's plastic. You can see the big ding and gash in there from these edges banging around on it. As you remember, it sits in here like this, and then it sits on here. And so this pump or a pump at points are either hopping or slamming on each other somehow. And they bang the plastic, or the motor's popping, or something like that. Those would be my ideas on how they get damaged. Being they're oiled up, there really shouldn't be any issues, but there is. I've opened them up and found all kinds of surprises in there. Wow, I'm all tickled. So that's how you do it. You take that out with your needle nose, and you either get an aluminum. I heard there's steel ones out there now. So I don't know who made them or who's putting them in. I read that, I think. I can't remember. Remember, folks, I'm pretty old. Steel, aluminum, these Teflon/nylon ones, and then the original OEM or the black plastic. If you don't know what you got in there, I mean, if you got a low-mile bike and you don't know what's in there, you may want to take a peek, because I don't think you want that fine plastic sawdust, or whatever you want to call it, crumbly pieces floating around through your oil. That could be an issue in the long run. All right, now the tricky part of getting this all back together is aligning that up. Now, I didn't turn nothing. All I did was set it down over here on this table. So with any luck at all, it should go. See, this is what I'm talking about, is getting this aligned up with that when I put it back on. It's a little bit tricky. So yeah, we need to look at that. There it is. It's a pin. And then we got O-rings here. Take a look at your O-rings. And these look really good. And they're soft. That's great. Yahoo. Man, they aren't torn or chipped. Everything in here looks wonderful. This pin comes out when you set it down the table. It goes no, that's not where it goes. It goes here, because it goes in this hole. This tube stud pin, whatever you want to call it, goes in here, and there's one that stayed in the block, and it goes here. Okay, so I haven't touched that. Let's see if we can get that puppy back together. get her set in there just so nicely. This port and this port match up with these two ports, and I think we're there. I need to tap it lightly. Lots and lots of nice little taps. And it was aligned, so it went together really well. And I got my pin tubes in, or what do you want to call them. Put that timing cover on. There's also another one here with another O-ring. Keep that in mind. That's usually how they go when they go. Well, she stayed. I don't think I'm going to get in there again, though, lucky. I'll probably have to buy another bolt. Or maybe by that time I won't be riding and I'll do a restoration on this. And then maybe again I won't. Alright. Alright, and this gasket looks good. Looks real good. So we'll leave it on there. And put it on this cover. Okay, so this nice little soft O-ring is going to go in there. And we have another nice little soft O-ring, and it's going to go in that one there. So I need to grab some bolts. Maybe, but I use lots of red, and I never have any issues getting it off. Whereas I have lots of issues getting orange off. There's an actual air gap all the way around here. I just seen the other day on eBay an Excelsior for sale on eBay, and it had holes drilled in here, and whoever did it, well, there's one that's stripped right now, right before my eyes. So that's how you replace your bushing. It's really pretty easy. Just don't get nuts and over tighten your bolts. Remember, you got a gasket under there. Remember, you got oil under there. You're going to want to catch it. The gasket, try to salvage that. If you can't, ehparts.net, Mike and Sandy Seastrom, I know they probably have some of those gaskets. I don't use sealer unless I got to. And that's pretty much it.